Hey, buddy! We're gonna go ahead and make you some yogurt today.
What we're doing here is we're gonna make some yogurt. And the best way I found to make yogurt is to open the container of yogurt. You know, it's quite hard. We have yogurt now.
One of these half gallons is gonna fit about this much Greek yogurt. Reason is we're limited by our strainer size. Try to use the Greek yogurt. Fage 2% has a good amount of culture and it works for the right temperature for what we're doing. We're gonna make 2 milks at the same time just to show you what we can do right or wrong. So step 1, take your yogurt, your live culture, open it up, and set it somewhere. We like to keep it above the oven, so that way it keeps a little bit warm as we're doing this. You wanna start this before you do everything because you gotta warm that up to room temperature. Step 2, go ahead and toss in just a couple of ice cubes directly into your pan. For that, is those ice cubes will melt, and that water will go ahead and prevent it from scalding a little bit. You just want a little bit of water at the bottom, and that's about it. Next step, go ahead and pour in the milk. So we're gonna go ahead and do, while we're turning on the heat, we like to turn it to about 2 or 3. So it's that medium-low. This is a good temperature not to scald anything. So we have these little candy thermometer things. We just hang it in there a bit.
Not candy thermometers.
Just leave it alone, no need to stir.
Slowly bring it to a simmer.
All right, so one of them's already reached our boiling temperature of 180. From this point, you wanna leave it for about 6 minutes. So that way you can boil down all the protein fibers so it doesn't get all stringy and or slimy.
I'm gonna shift this off. Careful everything's hot, okay? Pull that out. See a little bit of film. Off the heat. Remember to tear off the heat fully. We're just gonna wait for the second one to get to the same temp.
So just to save time, we're gonna go ahead and take off the lid. You can leave it as is. It will get some skin, as you can kind of see. All right, here we are. Both of them were brought up to the simmering temperature for at least 6 minutes. We took off the covers and we just kept the thermometer in. We just want to wait till it goes down to about 115, and that's when you're going to add the yogurt next for the live culture.
This is for the lazy people that don't want to wait. Creating a cold system and using the ice's chilling method, we're going to slowly bring this down to the desired 115. So if you had a bowl, use a cylinder. I'm just going to move it around a little bit as I stir. So we're getting close.
All right, so we're at 120. We're going to take it out and cool down to the last 5 degrees. So we can go ahead and add the live culture. So 2 tablespoons of yogurt is all you need for a half gallon. The important thing is to try to get as much of the culture mixed into the milk as possible.
So after we've added the culture to the yogurt at the 115 range, we're going to put a top on it. And we're going to put it in the back side of the oven with the light on. We're going to do our little liquid inside. Stir this up a little bit.
This is way more than 2 tablespoons.
Just going to add it here.
Action.
So what we have is double the cultures in the oven with the light on, and we're going to hold it there for 6 to 8 hours. But for us, we're going to put it for 24 hours because we have stuff to do.
So it's been about 11, 12 hours. Next step, go ahead and take the yogurt out of the oven. It's about 100 degrees in there, 80 to 100 degrees depending on which part. So here you can go ahead and see it's coagulated and become a little bit harder. You can use like a spoon and see how you can take a chunk out. Your yogurt's pretty much done. You just stick this in the fridge a couple hours just to solidify and cool down a little bit, and you're good to go. You can eat as is. Next step is making Greek yogurt. It should be still a little bit warm. It's about 100 degrees, 80 degrees in there with the light on. So we're gonna go ahead and strain it and slowly transfer it. The reason for this is the weight of it will actually push through most of the fine mesh for the strainer. And so, Mummy, this is what you have. You just have a strainer. And so that's what we're gonna go ahead and try. Just go ahead and spatula it out. Cover it, put it in the fridge, and then you're good to go. I usually leave about 4 hours.
Let's go in the car.
So here we end up leaving this one for about 20 hours. And this one is the one that was for about 11 to 12 hours. So when you're looking at them, so now it has a nice thick consistency. So you can actually see what it is. It breaks apart. Actually, you can kind of sculpt it a little bit if you were to do that. So it has pretty good shape to it. And then inside, you have all the whey. So all you do, go ahead and pour the whey out. Don't waste the whey. The whey is good. It's a lot of good protein. It has a lot of carbs in that. So I guess one of the advantage of this Greek yogurt is you remove a bunch of the carbs. And I'll go ahead and scoop it into that. This ends up tasting a little bit more like cream because I didn't leave it in there for too long. This one is a little bit more sour, the way I kind of like it. I already drained the whey, so you can see the difference in the whey. So once again, this one, I think there's a little bit more in here. I think we drank some of this milk, but oh well. This was because it was refrigerated first, and then we tried straining it. This was as soon as it was still warm, we took it out and strained it. So it got a lot more liquid on that. As this kind of was sitting for a while, so it had a texture. So you whip it up. So it's still creamy, but that ends up giving you a really good texture. So if you want to get it a little bit more whipped, go for that, and that's delicious. Anyways, there you go, Mom. Delicious, enjoy, have fun.